What time is it, ladies and gentlemen? Screw Kittle, but it is tight end weekend. I mean, it was amazing to watch all these tight ends. Apparently, they took the memo to heart, Danny. They understood the assignment. Well, this is the Sun City Leatherheads podcast. I'm JD Cercelli. This is Danny Ramirez. Danny, how we doing today?
Oh man, life could be better. You know, I still can't recover from that Hail Mary. That one hurts because just when I thought that we had won, we had snuck out of Washington with the win. That shit happened. And it's the kind of loss that shouldn't have happened. Given we had 3 timeouts, given the fact that our players just weren't mentally there, they were just talking shit to the fans. Yeah, that this is the type of loss that just
Whew.
it it frustrates you as a fan. It actually made me lose a lot of hope in our head coach Matt Eberflus. Um, and oh man, I don't know. I just expected better. I expected us to be 5-2 right now, not 4-3. This is the kind of loss that can make our season kind of spiral out of control now. Um, which sucks for Matt Eberflus because now he can get fired. So I think you kind of have the same frustration as I do. Maybe not a Hail Mary loss, but another loss for the Cowboys, right? So I don't know. Life could be
I'm
better.
I'm not even like the Cowboys are stupid, right? Jerry Jones is there. We're stupid. Like it's not going to change overnight. He's stupid. Is going to be stupid. But you're talking about not recovering and you're losing hope and whatever. Danny, I hope my Yankees get swept today because just in the bleeding, in the misery, I'm done. Aaron Boone is pathetic and I hate him. And I've said it. He was a better player than a manager because he does stupid things. You don't put a pitcher who hasn't pitched in months in the biggest game of the season in game one in the World Series to give the opposite team, the opposing team, all the momentum, all the energy, all the electricity, a grand slam, the first ever in World Series history, a grand slam walk off because Boone decides to put a pitcher. I don't even blame Cortez. Cortez is like, all right, I'm getting called down. I'm going to go do my job. He hasn't pitched in months. Like, why the hell are you sending him out there to get destroyed? Let him watch game one, maybe game two for sure, game three. Like, let him build that, animosity of the game again. His velocity of his fastball was not even close to what he was before the injury. And of course, last night he looked a little better. But after that, it just destroyed the team. And like you said, a Hail Mary like that with now people are talking about Edmonds and now we're talking about the Bears and like what happened? Like, how did you guys let that happen? It could spiral downhill for Chicago. And it seemed like it did with the Yankees. So it's decisions like and Danny, I like that we're bringing this up from the jump because I'm not mad at the 2-year player that was like throwing his swag and like, "Ooh, we're about to win this," compared to the coaching staff who made them play prevent defense on the play before that set him up to have the
Thank you.
distance to go to Hail Mary. That should have never happened. You were playing physical all game. You should have ended it the play before.
And that is the reason why I lost total confidence in him. In all honesty, just because at that time 3 timeouts, and they had about 6 seconds, I believe, right at that time
Right.
before that play, and all they had to do was just cover the bounds, right, making sure that they didn't go out of bounds, keeping everything inside and in front of them, and they didn't do that, and
That
it's
was,
so frustrating.
and
What
you're
were you gonna
right.
say?
And the play only took 4 seconds.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. And then to top it off, he has the audacity to try to justify that decision, which makes no damn sense. Everyone's been calling him out on that. And it's the kind of shit like that that makes me lose focus and lose all hope in him
Right.
because how are you going to justify something like that so idiotic, right? It just shows that you're not willing to accept or take accountability for that mistake. And if you look at all the other head coaches across the league, even heck across the NFC North, right in Detroit, that's a dude that if he messes up, he's gonna take accountability. Look at him in the NFC Championship game. He
Right.
took nothing but accountability,
Right.
right? And here on the other end in Chicago is like we can't accept that we're wrong. So that just leads me to believe that this guy isn't the right head coach for us. And as long as we have him as our head coach, we're not going to be able to compete with those Sean McVays, those even Matt LaFleur's, right, of the NFL. So it's just so frustrating.
I love how you said Sean McVay, Danny, because remember at the beginning of the year, I picked them to win the division. And they're one game behind of the slumping Seahawks. And we know the Niners are super inconsistent right now. So, and the Rams are getting healthy. Who knows what's going to happen in the back end? Woo!
Yeah.
It's crazy too. As soon as you gave Seattle, like you finally were like, you know what, Seattle's been awesome. Like you finally like kind of like jumped on the Legion of Boom again, and they were like, bam, bam. They've lost what
Yeah.
3 out of
Let me
4 or
down.
something. Yeah, they like the Bills are. We should take them more seriously at this point.
Right.
It's so crazy. So back then, we knew the Patriots were going to destroy the NFC East. Like there was this no, like, well, there's no going to be other division winner. This year it's the same, but it's Buffalo. Like the Dolphins are a mess. The Jets are in a complete abolishment, and then the Patriots are in complete rebuild mode. So like Buffalo is going to be in a runaway. I mean, luckily for them that they're going to have this, so they could possibly get the 1 seed. I
Yep.
mean, Kansas City is obviously still undefeated, but Danny, before the Las Vegas Raiders offensive coaching staff, showed their true colors and decided to be stupid. After they get the interception, they run it 3 straight downs instead of trying to get it into the end zone at least once through the air. Then, of course, they know they're going to pass on 4th down. They had all the momentum to beat Kansas City right then and there because they were actually playing better than Kansas City. But like you said, something stupid from Chicago, from the Yankees to the Raiders, once you deflate something, you have to try to like get it back to where it was, but it takes time. But
Yep.
it's insane. Man,
Yeah. It's
it's a
crazy. I mean, to your point, right? We were just talking about the NFC North being like probably like the strongest division. But
absolutely
now if you kind of take a step back, you're starting to see everything take form or take shape in the NFC East and the NFC West. I mean, everybody is pretty much in first place, pretty much, right? Except for
right
I think who's in last place there. I think everybody has 4 losses at this point, if I saw it correctly.
on the NFC
Um,
West.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they're every I think the 49ers and the Rams are literally 1 game off of Seattle now, I think, or something like that.
and that's because they had a bye, right, or something like that.
Right.
So they don't have the exact same amount of games played. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It can go to anybody at this point. Like the Cardinals, who we thought were crap, if they
They
continue to string
scramble
along some,
gamble came through, Danny. They beat the Dolphins, like I said. The scramble gamble came through. And you know what? I was like, watching the Texans Colts game at that time, and then of course I was watching the stats. I'm like, damn, Danny's gonna be like, I told you Tua was gonna blow him out of the water, and then it just started to like Miami stopped scoring, and then I just saw like a score by Arizona, a score, but I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, they're in the 50 of Miami to kick the field goal. Holy crap! But yeah, it's
yeah,
it's a wild thing,
it
man.
was a
This
it was a wild weekend. There was just a lot of upsets. I mean, the Ravens losing to the Browns,
woo,
Jameis
Jameis
Winston,
Winston looking like Florida State Jameis Winston. 3 touchdowns, no picks.
David.
What,
I knew
David?
I knew you were gonna show up. I
All
knew
hey,
it.
wait. You know what? Hold up. David's Commanders are finally good now, and then he starts coming on. What's going on? You should have been here since week 1, week 2, week 3. But hey, Hail Mary, like he was he texting you during the game, or like what are you guys chatting
No,
about?
no, but
You
I
know,
did message him after the game and I said, "Hey man, you guys have a bona fide franchise quarterback. Like that dude's awesome for
I
sure."
blame I blame Ashley because I had to go pick her ass up from her house to take her to my aunt's house, and by the time I got there, that's when I saw like Washington wins. Look, top of the first 2-0 already. I told you, stupid Boone just ruined the entire thing as soon as he let that grand slam happen. Like there's no doubt about it. I hope we get swept just to end the misery.
Thank you, Dale, for letting us know what the score is. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, not for me, my perspective, but yeah,
Well,
Danny's all right. But Danny hates the Dodgers too because you're a Cubs fan. Ugh, so tragic. But anyway, yeah. So it's Washington. They're legit. They've been here since day 1. You haven't commented. But yeah, Washington's legit. Like Dan Quinn has that thing as a machine, and didn't he get Bobby Wagner? Like he's always been wanting the last few years in
yeah.
Dallas, and he never got him. He gets him. The defense is looking stud. Jaden, I thought Jaden was going to be a stud coming out, and him and Caleb. What sucks for Caleb is now, let's say in 5 years, not both of them haven't like make it to the NFC Championship game, hypothetically, everyone is going to be like, yeah, but you guys were drafted the same. But remember year one on the Hail Mary? Like that's going to be his thing that's going to be tied to him forever. Mark Sanchez, the butt fumble, and there's so many players like you were drafted 1-2, and then you know what I mean. Like it's a sad thing for Caleb because he's over there. Like, did you see his reaction when the Hail Mary happened and all that stuff? Like he's just
Yeah.
like looking like, all right, man, we got this, we got this. And then boom, he is so pissed at his defense, which I don't blame him. But the coaching staff was lucky, but it happens. Yeah, that's sometimes the ball bounces in your favor. And like Noah Brown, the next Cowboy, we're talking about all these Cowboys, right? Dan Quinn, and then Noah Brown's like, oh, look at the pelota, whoop, and then like the ball and then touchdown. Like it was crazy. Like hats off to Jaden just to get it there. To be honest,
Oh man, it sucked. Like I mentioned, it
right,
sucks to lose a game like that, but you got to give them a ton of credit. And I think you and I were both high on Washington coming into the season just because of
right,
the whole Dan Quinn. We knew the type of team he was going to coach.
yeah, they were
It
gonna
looks
be
like
up there.
he, yeah, it looks like he also brought in some really good coaches. Pairing Cliff Kingsbury with Jaden Daniels has been amazing, and you can tell like when you were well, I don't know if you saw the whole game, but as you were watching the whole game, like you can see the two different sides of coaching. On one side, you had the Bears, who to me play scared. Like they when they call
Conservative,
plays, I don't know what it is. It's come on, you have like a first round talent at quarterback. He has all the arm talent, but yet you have him throwing like screen passes. Like why?
they play not to lose, which
But
is
that's some
yeah, it sucks because you're supposed to win. Like play to win the game.
develop your quarterback. You're not going to develop your quarterback by having him be conservative, right? You had to, and you look at the other side of the field. You had Jaden Daniels playing the way that he should be playing. That's the way Caleb Williams should be playing. He should be operating an NFL offense the way that Jaden Daniels is operating it, right? The coaching staff should play to Caleb's strengths, and instead, it's like they're just trying to make sure that Caleb doesn't mess up. And yes, Washington has a better offensive line, but we have the weapons. We should be doing the same type of production that Washington is doing, but instead we're too scared to unleash Caleb Williams him to make mistakes, and I think that's the big problem in Chicago.
Yeah, it's it's crazy, Danny. We're talking about players and development, and your ex quarterback a few weeks ago. A reporter asked him difference between Pittsburgh and Chicago, and he said straight up, "It's not even close, not even close." And I'm like, there's a reason why Tomlin has been there for probably now he's the longest tenured coach in NFL compared to um Eberflus. So it's the Bears are kind of it's scary right now.
Yeah,
So
it is. And that's a good point, David. The Bears do have pieces, and that's why I'm so frustrated because they have on paper, they have the talent to compete with like any NFC team, right? Like the Lions, for example. But we can't be that good because we have crappy ass coaching that calls stupid plays. Like for example, running a lineman at the one. We should have scored there, and that should have been a handoff to the running back, not a damn lineman. It's the kind of
where,
shit that they get too cute, and it ruins their chances
where's
of.
where's Brick Griffin? Let me talk to him. He was like, "Who's gonna stop us in the offseason?" Remember, he's like, "Who's gonna stop us?" I'm like, "You can't even coach. Like, you stop yourself." Like,
Yeah,
like
we do.
and Jerry stops Dallas. Like, there's no question. Now we're
Yeah.
about to dive into that breaking news too, with all this like fun stuff happening. Is Jerry Jones doing anything? Let's see. Oh no, of course he's still in his hospital of the mental Arkham Asylum. So Danny, the rich get richer, stupid bills. So okay, you get Xavier Worthy,
You always you always blame the
It'll be
Bills.
there. It'll be there forever because they give him Worthy. So they get Hopkins. So now, of course, the Patriots are rebuilding. They're not going to go over there. They trade Josh Uche, linebacker, to Kansas City, another piece, and
Bless
that
you.
means they're trying to win, Danny. They're trying to do a three-peat, and I respect it because they'll be the first team to ever do it. But at least they're trying. Dallas ain't trying. Other teams already given up, so they're just wholesaling. The Tennessee Titans already showed that they're going to give up. The Panthers are trading Deontay Johnson, who they just got in free agency, to the Baltimore Ravens. And mind you, Who was he with before the Carolina Panthers, Danny?
The
Pittsburgh
Steelers.
Steelers. Exactly. So you can't beat him, join him, right? So I was like, man, Deontay, he tore our defense up pretty good. So let's bring him with us, and maybe we can make that leap, and maybe get Pittsburgh later down. Because right now, Danny, Pittsburgh's first in the division. Can you believe that? Like,
They look good,
woo,
man.
dude.
Russell
And,
Wilson.
and he's cooking. I told you, like, it's gonna be a different rush just because the schematics are different. Sean likes his own things, and then Tomlin's just like, dude, just go be you, just go do whatever you want. And and sometimes it just works that way, right? So he's letting Russ cook, and hey, Russ is not doing bad playing there, and then Pittsburgh's playing physical ball.
Yep. It's a
Uh,
good compliment, right, to each other. Like the good defense. Now you have a pretty good offense. I mean, they struggle here and there, but hey, they're able to get points when they need to get points, and it's just completing that team. And
right,
now you're instead of seeing like the Steelers, for example, have a good defense, but then struggle with like a Mason Rudolph or struggle with a Mitch Trubisky. Like now you actually have a capable quarterback who can take you down the field when it's needed.
right. Speaking of quarterbacks, Danny, woo, Shane Steichen has has listened to me, and he's gonna ditch Rich pretty soon because ditch Rich is coming, and he made it quicker than I thought it was gonna happen. But I've been saying since last year, right? Ditch Rich, but he taps himself out, Danny, of the game, and he's supposed to be the star quarterback. He's
What
supposed to
was
be.
what was his reason? He's just too tired.
He's
Is that what he said?
fatigued. Like, yeah, like, oh man, I got fatigued. I'm like, bro, you were driving down the field, and like you just showed your coaching staff you don't want to be the guy. Like that's point blank. You're just not man enough and mature enough to be the guy.
You showed the coach, your teammates. I mean,
The
everybody's been.
world.
Yeah,
Commanders and Steelers in 2 weeks. That's gonna be a good game. I
yeah.
hate both, so it's gonna be a rough game for me. But
I'm gonna
yeah,
say Commanders. Commanders will win that one. If the Cowboys kept it close with the Commanders, I mean
you mean the
with the
Steelers?
Steelers, yeah, Commanders should do well.
Who's at home? Is it Pittsburgh or Washington, David? Because I'll probably go with the home team. I think they're both equally great. Okay, tragic news, man. Obviously,
Yeah.
as a Cowboys fan, teams, you hate the Niners or whatever, but Tre'Davious Ward announced that his daughter passed away yesterday. That is truly terrible. Someone who has nothing to do with the game, really, but her dad plays for the NFL. Like, what? She's like 1 years old, 2 years old, or whatever, and
One.
like, I mean, that's not living, man. I mean, if I could, there's so many kids that I've seen like come and go or whatever. I'm like, man, just take me instead at this point, because let them have some type of life. Like it's a sad thing. Commanders are home. Okay, well that definitely helps my reasoning, I guess, to possibly choose them. But yeah, man, prayers for Tre'Davious Ward and his wife and family and everyone involved, because that's oh man,
Like,
that makes me emotional.
yeah, I know. I mean, you hear of players losing their kids, and that's just hard. Like I know, I forgot what player it was that one of his kids ended up passing away through due to drowning. I mean, those kind of
Oh, I
tragic.
remember like a year ago, right?
Yeah, I mean those things. Like, how do you recover from that? I think he
It's
actually retired, didn't he? Because of it.
probably, yeah,
Shaquille,
probably. Oh yeah,
Shaquille.
Shaquille Barrett, right? That and hope, honestly, man, I hope for his mental health, for his family's sake, that they're able to get through it, because usually at least one person in that family becomes, kind of suicidal and stuff. So hopefully it doesn't get worse for that family. But and another loss. This is actually like football player wise of like playing. Danny, I was watching the Colts and Texans game, and I said, "Hey, if Flacco was playing, that I think that the Colts would win. They should have started him, and I think they would have had a. They honestly, because they were close the whole time, and
Yeah,
then as soon as I saw Stephon Diggs kind of buckle or whatever, and I was at my sister, I was like, damn, another Diggs is done for the year. Like I was like, we're never gonna see the brothers play. We're finally gonna see them, and now he goes down, because last year Buffalo was gonna play Dallas. Trayvon goes down, so the brothers don't play. This year, Texans are gonna play Cowboys. Now Stephon goes down, so like maybe we should just not hype this up, and then maybe they'll both stay healthy and play. But like it's crazy. Like this poor guy, he gets traded. The Texans are doing good, and I was hoping for a collision course in the playoffs, like Texans and Stephon Diggs versus the Bills and Josh Allen. That would have been epic.
Yep.
But now that's not going to happen either way. Even if the Texans and Bills collide in the playoffs, like no Diggs, so it's not even gonna it's not a lot of mustard on that hot dog no more. So it kind of sucks.
And this one hurts the Texans. I mean, they're already without Nico Collins, and now they're without Diggs. And I don't know what it is this year, but Tank Dell really isn't having the year that we thought that he was going to have. You would think him being slotted into the slot receiver would have his production go up, but we just haven't seen that side of him. So it just makes you wonder, like, what's going on with him. I know he's been hurt a lot. He's gone through a lot of different things, so they have to figure it out quick. Because I mean, right now you're leading the division, but all it takes is a couple of bad weeks, and you bring people into it.
Right. Yeah,
Schultz,
it's
yeah, David says Schultz stock rising. Yeah, maybe they need to include him more because they haven't really
they've
used the
they've
tight
well
ends.
well they've gotten away with it just because they got Diggs, because back then it was Dell, who's number 12,
Nico Collins.
Collins, and you had Schultz, but now they got Diggs, so there was a bit three-headed dragon, wide receivers, and then the tight end. But yeah, maybe draft Schultz this week in fantasy. That might be pretty good.
If only they had Noah Brown.
Bro, I know they got rid of him 1 year too early. And then so the Vikings, Danny, they dropped two straight, right? So we picked them over the Rams, and the Rams came out and said, "Nah, we won a Super Bowl years ago, a few years back, and we're getting healthy. We're not chumps." So they go and surprise the world and upset the Vikings. Well, the Vikings get Cam Robinson. Obviously, the Jaguars, I guess, are going to start regrouping and wholesaling. So they're getting a left tackle to help Darnold, which is good because remember, there's possibilities of them trying to trade for Sam or Bradford, or no, Stafford, Matthew Stafford. And then
Mhm.
I was like, no, man, like don't blow up what's going good right now. So what they're gonna do is just add a piece to maybe protect Sam Darnold, which I like. And so they get a left tackle. Of course, the Jaguars get a few picks in that trade. So there's not a lot going on, but there is a lot going on at the same time.
Yeah, I mean there is quite a bit going on. You already mentioned Deontay Johnson, Cam Robinson, Josh Uche,
Yeah,
Achu.
whatever. Yeah, Bobby
Um,
Boucher.
so yeah, I mean that's just the beginning of these trades. I
And
think we're
next
gonna
week's
start to
the
see
deadline,
more.
right?
Yeah,
What day is
next
that? Do
week's
you know?
it's the election day,
The
November 5th, I
5th?
think it is. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
I think that's where the trade deadline is. So we should see a lot more movement there with
I
teams,
don't know.
especially after this week. Um, but
Jerry
yeah,
ain't
going
gonna
back
do a
to
damn thing.
I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do anything. Di- I didn't really see the Cowboys game. Did Dalvin Cook look pretty good or?
His first game back, he looked good enough. I want to see game two, game three. Like let his legs and physicality come under him. Then we'll make, at this point, since you did finally elevate him, why not go trade for a receiver? CeeDee Lamb is the only brother trying to get open, and then your quarterback's stupid. So like he needs all the help he can get because he's stupid. Danny, the first interception I can live with. It was like it was 0-0 at that point still, I think, or maybe they're up three, but he tries to do a deep route. He gets hit by Bosa, so the ball's not as as air as it should have. So then the safety goes before the cornerback and then Turpin and then intercepts it. He gets hit. I get that he was rushed. The second one, he's rolling out to his left, and CD and the cornerback are like this. And instead of like air mailing it to CD, he fucking zips it. So the cornerback is in front of him. So all he does is jump up, intercept it, and falls on the ground. But I'm like, what the
Mm,
hell, dude? And he gives San Francisco so much advantage because of the field position he always gives them. Like his interceptions always happen within the 50 of our 50. The first one, the last game was in our on our side of the field, which is good because it was a deep ball. But the second one, he's rolling out. It should have been airmail to Lamb because Lamb was running past the freaking cornerback. He would have had a big gain, maybe a touchdown because of his elusiveness. I don't know where the safety is or where everybody else is, but I'm like, he straight lines the ball instead of going up and over. and I was pissed about that. Then on the last drive, Danny, we got the momentum back. Like we look like the team that all right, cool. He's got 3 minutes, dude. Pull some Tony Romo. Like just go do a drive, win the game. Let's go crazy. We'll win by a point. And first, his 4 downs, right? His first play, I get that he's trying to go to Lamb. The San Francisco 49ers knew that he was going to go to Lamb, so it almost gets intercepted, like triple coverage, which I don't mind. Try to get to your best player. Second down, throws it to the sideline to Ferguson, your second best player, which I don't mind. It's out of bounds. Like they're fighting for it out of bounds. The third down play, though, this is where I'm pissed. The same exact play that he got picked on the Turpin deep ball. He had 3 minutes left in the fucking game, Danny, and he's trying to go for the home run on that specific play instead of giving what the defense gives us to try to get yards to make fourth down easier, get the first down. He tried to do a 50-yard freaking pass with 3 minutes left in the game.
That sounds pretty typical of Dak. No, it seems like
right.
he
It's
always
just
gets
so
impatient.
stupid. Yeah, he's just stupid. And then on fourth down, when you should look for 88 or 87, your two best players that are catching, he rolls out and he's like, ugh, and he throws to double coverage to Brooks, who's failed us a few times before, but not Lamb, not the two best players that you should target on a fourth down to try to get a clutch play. And that was it.
I don't know if this is just me, but from watching a couple of Cowboys games this year, it seems like CD's becoming a little bit more animated after bad plays. It looks like he's growing frustrated with all the bad plays
because his quarterback's stupid. I don't blame him.
And I don't ever remember him being that animated before this season, or maybe I'm just not.
The second pick, like I said, when he kind of throws it more of a dart than over, CD becomes the defender, and you can, while he's grabbing the guy to put him on, or just to tap him down, he's already oh my god, here we go. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, and it's yeah, because your quarterback's stupid. And then Dak, he's like this, he's walking out the field with his stupidity, and he's like, I'm like, dude, I hate the player so much right now. He is not worth all that money. I wanted him to have a prove it year. I was saying that forever. And Jerry Jones, of course, in his mental hospital, yeah, that sounds good. I swear to God, Aaron Boone, I bet when Aaron Boone decided to call Cortez, he was he went to the phone in the dugout, ring, ring. Hello? Hey, Boone. Jerry, is this you? Yeah. How's it going? Well, things are tense right now. What do I do? Don't do anything. Just send out whoever. You'll be all right. You're making money. No one cares. You're going to be a millionaire. That's fine. Look at me. I'm 10 billion and I don't care about winning. Yeah, you're right. So Cortez hasn't thrown in a long time. Yeah, he's not that good right now. Just like my quarterback, but just put him in. All right, sounds good, Joe. I swear to God, stupid with stupid. They're both in the mental hospital for sure. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, well, it sounds frustrating to be going through this week over week, because it seems like this year, at least, it's been like that. A lot of boneheaded moves, head scratching throws. Honestly, they're 3-4 right now, but they should be 5-2
at least.
There's a lot of
right, yeah, because they were close in a lot of games, and then it just I'm so pissed. And then our first drive, Danny, our coach, genius of an offensive mind, supposedly, it's 3rd and 5, trying to keep the drive going. You just elevated Cook. He does a fullback draw on 3rd and 5 with
fullback draw
on 3rd and 5 with San Francisco's front seven. Danny, what's the best part of San Francisco's defense? The front seven. Their linebackers and their defensive line. He did a stupid fullback draw.
Oh my God. See, this is that kind of bullshit that we got to deal with as fans.
Right. And it was in shotgun.
That's the worst. I hate it. I hate when and we've done it before this season. This season, a couple times where it's third and one, fourth and one, and we run out of shotgun. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Dude, I was like, dude, pass the ball. Like, what are you doing? Or do a swing pass. Like, I'm okay with, like, maybe Limpke going out with this, a HB screen or fullback screen. But you know how when Mike McCarthy does something stupid, he looks at the jumbotron to see if, like, maybe the players did something or there's a flag or something. That's exactly what happened on that 3rd and 5. He did that fullback draw and he was like this. And I'm like, no, because you're stupid. Like, what are you doing?
They're waiting for a bailout, right? Seems like.
Yeah, and if he doesn't get fired after this year, like, I don't know.
I'm with you. I hope both of our teams are looking for new head coaches after this season. I've had enough of this
At this point,
outsmarting yourself type of play calls.
If we're gonna go offense, I want the kid, or I'm not gonna say kid because he's a grown man over us, but I want the offensive coordinator from Detroit.
That's who I want. I would love Ben Johnson.
Dude, I think he would do so good. And then put Al Harris as defensive coordinator, so he can, like, go back to man, which our team is built for man. Like, had Dan Quinn had us, and then, with all those turnovers and stuff, we only have 5 turnovers this year, Danny. And our team, the last 4 seasons, the previous 3, who led the league in takeaways? The Dallas Cowboys. And we have 5.
We're not struggling in that department, but that could be pretty frustrating. And especially if you're giving up 40 plus points at home.
Yeah, just nothing.
Something's
now,
wrong.
Hey, guess who we have this coming Sunday, Danny? My boy coming into town. You like that? He's gonna light us. Yes, he's gonna. If we don't get it together at all, he's gonna light us like a new motherfucker. Like, he's gonna light us a new one that's gonna be so daunting. And I think we're at home, so we're gonna get our ass destroyed at home.
At this point, right? The way that is trending this year.
Are we? No, I think we might be in Atlanta. But either way, like, it just doesn't. Home or away, I don't trust us right now.
Yeah, that's a dangerous team. But I think, and if you want to, the silver lining, I guess, it's the way Atlanta Falcons play sometimes. Like, they start off slow, or they just struggle with teams they should beat single-handedly.
Right. I don't know, but man, if I want the Cowboys to win, I go play Madden, because it ain't gonna happen in real life.
Is that a day game or is it a primetime game?
Yeah, it's at 11. Frank will be coming in around that time. He's gonna come super early Sunday so we can celebrate my mom's birthday. Her birthday's the 7th, nice. But, like, yeah, he's gonna be here for a few days and stuff. His daughter's. But yeah, man. Ooh. So Danny, crazy, man. National Tight Ends Day, right? The tight ends got the memo. They understood the assignment for sure. National Tight End Day. They had 177 catches on Sunday. That is the most by catches of tight ends since 1966 of the realignment.
Crazy, right?
That is... It's so weird. Like, National Tight Ends Day last year, they were like, okay, cool, National Tight Ends Day. Like, I don't remember them just blowing up the world with all the tight ends. Like, each tight end was like, oh, you want a catch? You want a touchdown? You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Like, yeah,
I was watching Red Zone in the morning, and every highlight, it seemed like it was a tight end. It was Kyle Pitts. It was.
Dude, Kyle Pitts had a game.
K-Dot, and it was it was cool to see.
You know what it reminded me of, Danny? Have you seen those new Uber Eats commercials where, like, they don't try to advertise, like, what are you eating, Jerry? Rice. Oh.
Jerry's eating rice.
Jerry's eating rice. It was almost like that. It was like, all right, NFL teams, here's the memo. We're playing on National Tight Ends Day, so if a tight end gets open, you let him catch the ball. Like, it was like it just seemed so perfect of an advertisement. It was like National Tight Ends Day, and then, like, every highlight, tight end touchdown, tight end touchdown, tight end touchdown. And I'm like, what is going on? That is wild.
Do you know how this I guess day started? Have you read up on that?
National Tight End Day? No.
So apparently George Kittle, Greg Olsen, and I'm trying to blank on somebody else.
I already hate the holiday if you start with George Kittle.
Well, they're the ones that actually started it, and it all happened because Jimmy Garoppolo had made a comment like, "Oh, today is National Tight End Day because of the great performance that they had." So they just kind of went with it. They went with it, and as you know, I think we've heard on
Greg
several
Olson.
broadcasts, Tight End U. Have you heard of that function that they
Yeah.
have in the offseason?
Yeah.
Well, Greg Kittle, I mean Greg Kittle, George Kittle, Greg Olson, they're the kind of like the founders of it. And so everybody, all
Wow.
the tight ends around the league get together and they just work. They work on their craft. So to me, it was pretty cool that they kind of evolved out of something that happened on the sideline, and now like these tight ends are
Dude.
being recognized, and
Crazy.
it's it.
Tragic.
It is tragic because if you look back at when we started watching football in the early 90s or late
90s. Yeah.
90s, like there was a lot of pretty good tight ends, but again, they were just considered like an extension of probably like the offensive line, right? And now, as the years have kind of gone, like they're developing into a legitimate offensive threat, right? You look at Travis Kelsey, you look at George Kittle, like those guys are a part of that offense, and they lead to a lot of success. I mean, Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes without Kelsey.
Not even
Eh,
close.
Yeah,
Greg Olson, honorable mention because he's a great sports commentator. He was a great tight end for the Bears and the Panthers. Like, I mean, he was so good for y'all. And then then he goes to Carolina and gets a quarterback. Then he even lights up Carolina. Like it was such a he had such a good he had such a underrated career. Like he's not
yep,
flashy, his name's not flashy, but he just showed up and worked. And then it's
yep,
cool to see him do so good in commentating because it shows the knowledge of the game, right? So it's awesome. Greg
yeah. No,
Olson for sure.
he's one of my favorite commentators, and you just gotta love the way that he analyzes everything, and as like a spectator of a game, like he teaches you some stuff, right? And it's
Right.
rare that a commentator will do that.
The last 20 years, he was one of my favorite tight ends into commentating. Like he did a great leap of both transitions. Like he's great on both.
Yep, he is.
Woo! So on National Tight End Day, Danny, we talked about for this show, we will honorable and mention four tight ends of like people that may have been forgotten or tight ends that people know, but they just kind of like didn't know much of the stats or whatever. Like who was someone that was just amazing to where you loved watching the game as a tight end, right? So I'm gonna let you start because I was the one who like mentioned it to you on Sunday, so I'll let you get the honor, sir. You go with your first tight end.
You know me, I like to start in chronological order, right? So I am gonna go with, and I don't know who's first, but I guess I'll start with Jeremy Shockey. Jeremy Shockey stands just he's always like one of the tight ends that I think about because right when I started watching football in the 99 2000s, he had just came into the league. And of course, we all know Jeremy Shockey. If you guys don't know, Jeremy Shockey was a tight end that was drafted by the New York Giants from the University of Miami. And I know that you and I have talked about the University of Miami being like at the top of college football in the early 2000s. Well, he was on that team with Andre Johnson and all
Yeah,
of
he
them.
was
And
with the championship.
yeah, that dude was just a monster. Like this was a
Right.
guy that you look at him and he met like the actual physical type of body type of a tight end. That's what you pictured. And then you actually see him play on Sundays and this dude was running over people. He was high pointing that football like Megatron would. Like this dude would go up for any football and he would not shy away from contact. And the to top it off, like it sucks when you don't have these types of players on your team because you grow to hate them. But
Right.
he was one guy that would go up against the likes of Brian Dawkins, go up against Ray
Roy
Lewis,
Williams because he
Roy
played the
Williams.
Cowboys twice a year. Yeah, I hated and loved Shockey at the same time. Like you said, as a Cowboy fan, of course I saw him all the time. So I was like, dude,
Yep.
no, someone take Shockey. Like I would be like, all right, everyone watch Shockey because he's gonna do something. Like he's gonna get open. Go ahead.
No, it's true. That's exactly right. And honestly, I didn't see him too much as a Bears fan, but I would always see his highlights on Sunday night with Chris Berman. Like that dude was just running over people left and right, and it sucks. I guess because of his play style, he did get hurt a lot, and so he
Right.
didn't really finish a lot of seasons. But he didn't have, I guess, the career that he wanted with New York, and so he later transitioned to the Saints, and he had an up and down career for the rest of his career. But if you look at his highlights, like this dude is just one of those hard nosed football players. And I was trying to find some highlights to show, but they're just too long. It's just like
What do you
12
mean?
minutes long.
Well, just show
They're
we'll
12.
just show a few plays, and then we'll move on to the next person. And while you're
All right,
looking
let me.
for that, I want to mention to about Jeremy Shockey, right? If
Yeah,
we if they casted the Avengers out of football players, Danny, Jeremy Shockey would be Thor. He was
yeah.
big, broad, long hair. You know what I mean? He just got that like pretty boy but rugged look about him that you're like, man, he's something, but I don't know what. And then you're like, oh damn, he's a football player, because he sometimes didn't look like a football player if you just saw him normal. And
Yeah.
then I believe he won a Super Bowl with the '06, no, the '09 Saints, right? He won a Super Bowl with the '09 Saints, I
Oh
believe.
yeah, he did. You're right. He was on that
So
team.
so so awesome for him too to win a national championship, then have a great career, and then end his career at a different place, but ends up winning a Super Bowl. Because that Sean Payne's smart, right? Like, man, Shockey was such a good player against me in Dallas. Like when I was there, now I'm a head coach of the Saints, and he's a free agent. Why would I not go get him? And boom, then they win a championship. So yeah, Jeremy Shockey is definitely one. Um, I knew you were going to mention
CP3.
him, so I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to put him on my list because I think you and I are on sync on a lot of things, and I knew that you and I would think of Jeremy Shockey. So for sure, I knew I wasn't going to say him even before you sent me your list, because I was like, yeah, we're both going to think about Jeremy Shockey, because I love Jason Wynn as a Dallas Cowboy. He's going to be the Hall of Fame, but like if there was a tight end who I was like, damn, we got to go up against this dude. I don't like it, but he's good. That was Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah, that dude was a beast, and I have a lot of respect for his game. And growing up in that time, right when I started watching football, I think just watching his plays just is something that's ingrained in my memory.
Right?
Um,
Were you able to find anything?
you know what? The StreamYard's acting up. It's not letting me share my screen for some reason.
Dang.
It's
Okay.
like stuck
Well,
right now.
let's see if we can get
As
it
it is, I can't
unstuck.
even see. I can't even see you right now. So
What?
let me yeah, something happened to my computer. Let me refresh my screen. I'll be right back. All right. So go ahead and tell us about who's your next guy.
All right. Well, I'll wait till you come back because this one's gonna be someone that you love. So you go redo your thing. I'll talk about Jeremy Shockey and the tight ends.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. So Jeremy Shockey was someone that is amazing, and of course he wins the Super Bowl with the New Orleans Saints in '09, which that team was amazing. Drew Brees, Sean Payton at head coach, Reggie Bush, who it's funny they took away his Heisman, then they brought him back. We're talking about the Saints, Danny. Welcome back. The ones that Jeremy Shockey won the Super Bowl with, and that team was just a monstrous team, right?
Yeah.
Um, there was a man, number 12. Who was he? He was so underrated.
Lance Moore.
Lance Moore?
Oh no, on the
No,
Saints,
the Saints. Yeah.
Lance Moore was 16. 12 was Marquise Colston.
Yes, I loved him, man. Marquise Colston was a baller. But yeah, Jeremy Shockey wins the Super Bowl with them, and all great things. And hopefully he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
That was one of the Super Bowls I remember vividly, and it's one of the Super Bowls that we watched together. Remember? And
Yeah,
at
because
that point,
you're
like,
like, I don't want Peyton to win again.
yeah,
I
we were
forgot that we
bitter
watched
about.
it. Was that Dave? Like, was Dave with us? Was it that time?
I don't think so. No, I don't think Dave
But
was with us. But
you and I watched it.
yeah, you and I and somebody else. I can't remember who else was with us, but apparently, like, just the ballsy move of Sean Payton,
Oh,
right? Of
onside
kicking the
kick. I
yeah,
mean, and
that
it turned
changed.
the game. Like we're talking about whatever happens to change the outcome. That's just the collapse, right? Like after that, the Colts could not figure it out.
Yeah, that
But
was that. It played out. It played to his benefit for sure.
all right. So Danny,
All
I
right,
guess you're not
who do
gonna.
you got?
All right. So I got someone who you love, who I love, who is in the history. I dig deep in some of the history, Danny. So here we go.
Bubba
His
Baker.
Bubba Baker. He played around the same time. No, actually, he played earlier. By the guy by the name of Mike Ditka. Oh,
Wow.
transcended the tight end game, Danny, when it was like bumping, grinding, leatherhead, smash mouth, and in your face, bite your eyes, and all that. He played 12 years as a tight end, Danny. 427 receptions. And mind you, this is before they did the airmail all the time. He had 5,812 yards as a tight end and 43 touchdowns as a tight end in his career, Danny. Mike Ditka, we know him as a head coach. We know him as an assistant coach and blah, blah, blah. But he was such a great tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think he played for another team also. He wasn't always a Cowboy. Then he goes and coaches the 85 Bears, wins the Super Bowl with Coach Phillips, right? Bum Phillips, I think, is the defense coordinator.
No,
No,
it was it wasn't Bud Phillips. It
oh,
was
it was the guy. He went to
Buddy
Philadelphia.
Ryan.
Buddy Ryan, yeah. The Ryan. See, I knew it was Philip because Phillips and Ryan, they were all coaching at the same time, even with their children. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, Rex Ryan's father. So and what was the other Ryan, Rex Ryan, and
Rob
Rob Ryan.
Rob Ryan.
But yeah, Mike Ditka, Danny, 12 years, 427 receptions, 5,812 yards, 43 touchdowns as a tight end when they weren't even throwing it to the tight end back in the day. So, yeah, he played what in the 50s and the 60s, right? So the 60s, the early maybe 70s. Then he becomes a head coach later on. He was, I think, a coaching staff for the Cowboys too for a while, maybe the tight end coach. And then he
Yep.
went off to Chicago. And man, I remember, I don't know when I watched it, but I it might have been during COVID or something. I don't know, but they're doing the 85 Bears NFL life, and of course they had Ditka and a few of the Bears, in the episode and talking, and it's crazy, right? You don't never want to disappoint your parents, or like you don't want to hurt their feelings or whatever, but um it's so crazy. He's talking about the season, right? The magical season that they had and that run. And he was like, man, when we play the Cowboys, and when he was like, I'm supposed to be celebrating because my team just destroyed them. And, I'm supposed to be super happy. And he goes, I walked to the middle of the field, shook Tom Landry's hand, and he said, good job, kid. You learned well. And he walked off. And Danny, he started to like he's about to just bust in tears. Like he starts getting tears, and he's like, that was the worst win I ever had in my life. And I was like, damn, how crazy. He's like, and he goes, man, that man was like a father to me. So I was
Yeah.
like, man, it's one of those things, right? You just don't like you love someone, but you don't want to hurt them, even if you're supposed to be competitive, right? Barely of the bottom of second inning. Jesus. Seems like
2-1.
we 2-1. Oh god. I bet it wasn't
See,
Judge. He didn't
they're
even
making
know
a
that
comeback.
he doesn't even know that the bat was supposed to be there. He didn't know that he's supposed to hit the ball. But yeah, Mike Ditka, man, I love that man. I used to love watching him on ESPN, Danny, because the way he would talk about the game and
Yeah.
his knowledge, and I used to love that. To me, I think that was the best ESPN group.
Yeah, I agree. Right now, I get really frustrated watching Rex Ryan. Like that dude, I think he tries to be that Mike Ditka type, but to me, he's just
Well,
very annoying.
to me, but back then it was like during all the time. Like I don't know. Like I just think that the lineup was just so perfect. Yeah, what Trent Dilfer, Mike Ditka, uh,
Steve Young,
Steve
right?
Young, Randy Moss later, and then someone else. But man, that lineup was just so good. Oh, wasn't it Jackson?
Tom
The one
Jackson.
Tom Jackson, right? Because he would be there with Chris Berman later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know that group that 2005 to like what 20, no, it's probably like 2000 to 2010 or whatever. That group was just the best. Like
Yeah.
it was such a great
They
time to watch
they
football.
made they made football like
Right? Yeah,
that's
they
what
made
you
it amazing to watch.
not only that, but like they even also included them in video games like NFL 2K, right? Like they were highlighted on that game,
Right. Yeah.
which
So
was
it's
pretty cool.
crazy. So Danny, your second tight end. Go ahead.
I like that Mike Ditka, by the way. I was gonna say like that dude. I didn't think we were gonna go that far back, so thank you
Come
for
on,
doing
Danny.
that.
You know me. I gotta go in the
I
trenches, bro.
Yeah, you do your research for sure. I go based off what I remember as a fan, but there's nothing wrong with that for sure. And I like Shockey because of his physicality. Mike
Right.
Ditka was exactly that. Like he
Well,
was
he
five
was him
four.
before it became like a tight end thing. But yeah,
Yeah. And honestly, like I don't know. I'll just wait. I won't even say Shannon Sharp because I don't know if he's on your list or not. But that dude, like I don't remember watching him play, but watching his highlights today, like that dude was a monster. And it sucks that I wasn't really able to watch him play. But my second one is going to be Dallas Clark, and I like Dallas Clark a lot because he was a different type of tight end. I mentioned that physicality, like Dallas Clark was not that type. He was the more like I'm gonna get those rough yards when you need it, and you can depend on me when you need it, right? Like anytime the Colts needed a first down and it was a fourth quarter, like that was
Right.
Peyton Manning's
In
target right
cold
there.
weather, like yeah, you're like, where's Dallas Clark? Because he was just like he'd catch it and get hit, boom. Like catch it, get hit, boom. And yeah, he come through all the time.
For sure. Like every big play that they needed was Dallas Clark catching that football. And he also reminded you of probably like an old school tight end, right? With not wearing any gloves. Like he'd have
Tape, yeah,
taped around his fingers.
tape fingers.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. And then he would just go out and ball. Number
That's
44.
crazy.
And he
44
didn't
weird
even
tight
have
end.
he didn't even have a normal tight end. Like he was just so abnormal, but freakishly good. Like it was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's one guy that I remember because of I guess all the success that they had during that time, right? I mean, the
Right,
Colts were at the pinnacle or at the peak of the NFL during that time. Like they were just always there with the Patriots. So it was just a cool matchup to watch. Manning versus Brady and Dallas Clark just always being there when he needed him, and that's something that is rare. Like you don't really get that much. Like Jason Wynn was one of those guys for Romo.
right,
But other than that, like Kelsey is today's version of maybe Dallas Clark. But I mean, just the level to me, it's surprising to have a tight end be like the security blanket of a quarterback, right? Where you can depend on him in any type of situation.
right.
Nowadays, it's like a luxury to have,
Yeah,
and so
because you need one at this point.
yeah, it's becoming a rare luxury, right? So yeah, Dallas Clark was one of the guys that just I always remember about watching football.
Woo! Man, this is awesome. So we're gonna my next two are actually during the kind of like during the Dallas Clark era because they were
Okay.
just tight ends that just like you said, Dallas Clark and if Jason Wynn and those that they expanded to the tight. Everyone knows who Tony Gonzalez is. Like, there's no question, right? Like, he was like
Yeah.
the only thing in Kansas City for so long that was just we know
He
who he is
was
and what he is.
Kansas City.
Yeah, he was Kansas City. He is Kansas City. I put him over Machomies any day, but Algie Crumpler, Denny, the Atlanta Falcons with Michael Vick. Michael Vick even talked about him like I forgot who I was with. I was with my mom or someone. They were watching the Fox pregame show, and then they were talking about National Tight Ends Day, or whatever. And then they're like, Mike, who's someone that would, who do you remember like that would? He's like, man, there's so many good tight ends because of course Gronkowski's there, and he's like Gronk was great, but he's like, man, but Algie Crumpler. And I even before he said it, I told my dad he's gonna say Algie Crumpler, and boom, he says, man, Algie Crumpler was just my guy. Like I could depend on him, and he would just come and get the dirty yards. Like I was watching. It was weird too. Even before I realized it was National Tight Ends Day Sunday on Instagram, I don't know where it was, but one of my sports pages I followed, it was highlights of Algie Crumpler, and I was
No
like,
way.
damn, yeah, and I was like, damn, maybe this is gonna lead up to something. And then I saw the tight end day, and I was like, okay, now it all makes sense. Like, woohoo! They're just like, so, they're highlighting tight ends, and I was like, I loved Algie Crumpler because we're talking about Kelsey and Clark. They're those guys that catch it and just get hit. Crumpler would just hit somebody and break a tackle and just keep running. Like he was such a physical, freakishly guy, like Tony Gonzalez is, and who's another tight end now that I can think of that just hits people and keeps going, like Ferguson,
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. There's a few tight ends, but Algie Crumpler is one of those guys that like, hey, you're gonna hit that stick and just keep going. 10 years, Danny, 373 receptions, 4,743 yards, and 39 touchdowns. And check this out, Danny. We're talking about like this is the era where the NFL knew, okay, defense kind of still wins championships, but offenses are going to sell the tickets and make us more popular. Mike Ditka had more yards, more touchdowns, and more receptions Then Algie Crumpler did his whole career, and he played during the time where they didn't throw things. So I'm like, I mean, granted, he played 2 more years, but like, just look at that. Like, that's such a great, astonishing accomplishment from Mike Ditka's point of view. But at the same time, Algie Crumpler, he got those physical yards that just like, you're that defender, like, oh man, I got to figure out how to tackle him because he's gonna ground and pound me if I don't. And when I was watching the highlights, I was like, man, I remember the next person I mentioned too. If they became a free agent in Madden, I picked him up next to Jason Wynn every time so I can go the best two tight end setup. Like that's just the
Just
thing.
just tell us who is that person.
The next person, well, he's on my list.
Yeah, go for it.
All
You could
right.
skip me.
All right. All right. Jeez. All right. So Algie Crumpler, Jason, whatever. And then the next person, if he was a free agent man, and I sure as hell picked up because I absolutely loved him in Tennessee because there was times where Tennessee was atrocious on offense, but they had someone that they could rely on. His name was Frank Wycheck. And that name is just one of the coolest names. Like, he has a football name. He has that moxie, Frank Wycheck. 11 years, Danny, 505 receptions, 5,126 yards, and he had 28 touchdowns. But look at the receptions, 505. That was that, like, all right, man, we need you to come and just get 2 yards, 3 yards. Let's just get a catch and get the first down. Because that was when probably what Chris Johnson was running, where their quarterbacks were like up and down and, changing throughout. But Frank Wycheck, man, I'm pretty sure he played with Steve McNair too. But
Yeah, he did.
physical tight end, which I love to watch and play. I just loved his name too. Like, he just had that cool moxie about him, like the Mike Dickas, the Jeremy Shockeys. He just had that cool swag about him. But he just showed up and provided over and over and over.
You know what? Like you mentioning those names just makes me think of something. Like if these tight ends play like in Tennessee, they play in Atlanta, they play. Let's say I'll give you another example, another tight end that's not on my list. Randy Carmichael. Um,
Man, he was so
with the
cool.
Dolphins. Like
Right.
those are guys that yes, you would see them make plays, but because they're not a really a great team at that time, right? They were
Or
a team that
flashy. Only Vic's Falcons probably was the most flashy just because he was the Flash.
he was the thing that everybody wanted to see. So he was in a lot of games, primetime games, right? They would show
Right.
him a lot. The Dolphins wouldn't get a lot of attention like that. I know Titans
The
probably would.
Titans.
I
They
mean,
they still don't.
Titans at the beginning of 2000s maybe, but after that, like yeah,
Yeah.
they were hardly ever shown. But those are the type of guys that would consistently make plays, but because we didn't see them often in a lot of highlight reels or in games, primetime games, like we just forgot about them. And
Right. And
it
yeah,
just shows
it's
you
so fun to
the
talk about people that that we saw. And we're just like,
yeah
oh yeah, oh yeah. And you were talking about, you mentioned Brian Dawkins earlier with Jeremy Shockey, right? If you go
yep
watch the Algie Crumpler take the hit by Brian
NFC
Dawkins,
Championship.
yes, oh my gosh. I mean, he holds the ball, but I mean, Dawkins lights his ass up, and then he's like stays down, and then he gets up and he's just like, woo, like, oh damn,
Yeah,
homie, lit me up. But that just shows, like, these tight ends, man, they're worth it. They're needed because like if a receiver gets hit like Brian Dawkins like that, they're probably dropping the ball and then they're like trying to sue him because some of these receivers are such divas. But yeah, Frank Wycheck, Algie Crumpler, Jeremy Shock, man, we're just having this good stretch right now. All right, Danny, who's your next one?
another physical receiver, and we kind of mentioned his name briefly, is Jimmy Graham. And Jimmy
Woo!
Graham was one of those tight ends I hated because the Bears played the Saints a lot during this time. And every time we would play the Saints, this guy would kick our ass as a tight end.
And he had
And
Drew Brees,
again,
man.
yeah, Drew Brees had a security blanket, and at that time they didn't have the likes of, let's
Well,
say,
Colston
I'm
already
trying to.
retired. Like, there's so many people that have already left.
Well, they had a Colson at that time, but Colson, if you remember, he had up and down career with injuries, right? So he was
Right.
on off the field, on the field, but Jimmy Graham was their offense, the passing offense. Like he was a big part of that. And every time when you thought you had a good lick at, a good hit on him, he would freaking just take that and just continue
Bounce
and
off and keep
freaking
running. Right.
yeah, like he was hard to tackle, and that was the most frustrating thing about him. And I'm happy that he won a Super Bowl at least, right? He won in '09. He was with them, right? Yeah.
Nope. Nope.
No,
No,
that was
I think
Shockey,
well,
right? That
Shockey
was
and there's
Shockey.
another tight end, but the other tight end, look it up though. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Graham got drafted like a few years later.
Maybe I think he got drafted maybe 2010. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, he joined in 2010. It looks like he was in Miami. He actually went to Miami as well, just like Jeremy Shockey. So
Wow.
so it's yeah, it's crazy. I thought he had won a Super Bowl, but that sucks. That now I think he didn't win a Super Bowl, did he?
Did
He
he
wasn't
win
with the
with the
Packers.
Rams a few years
No.
back? Didn't someone bring him to do just to show up and then he won a Super Bowl?
Let's
Kind of like how
see.
Randy Moss was part of that 49ers team that went to the Super Bowl, but they never even used him.
No, he didn't win any championships. It says
Damn. Is he still with the Saints? Didn't he go? He went back to the Saints, right? Like,
last year, but he didn't play, and I think they cut him after a couple of games.
damn, he's not playing? That's
So
crazy.
no,
I
but this
think he's
guy,
still talented.
even off the field, bro, like this guy ended up training himself to become a pilot, so he flies planes.
He's cool, man. Jimmy Graham, right? He's even got the old school name, and like he just sounds like someone that plays ball. And
Guess
yeah,
guess who he mentored when he was in Chicago? Cole Kmet.
really.
He came in. He we signed Jimmy Graham during Cole Kmet's rookie season,
Oh
and Jimmy
wow.
Graham was our starting tight end, but then he started kind of molding him and training him. So now Jimmy Graham's physicality, I think I see a lot of it in Cole Kmet. But again, we don't see a lot of flashy plays from Cole Kmet because our coaching
You got
staff
three
can't
wide
draw plays.
receivers.
That
Yeah,
too.
man, it's crazy. But yeah, man, yeah, Jimmy Graham was so fun. Like, yeah, in the goal line too. Like, if his big old body, like you knew Breeze was gonna look for him. Like, oh, here we go.
Automatic.
Yeah, here we go. Another Jimmy Graham. So he's played for what, 5 teams now? Man, that's
He
crazy.
played for the Saints, Green Bay, Bears, and then he played for somebody else that I'm missing. I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up. But yeah, no, this guy he was he played for Seattle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
He
Danny,
five five
who's
Pro
your
Bowls.
last guy, Danny?
My last guy is the basketball player slash tight end for the San
Woo!
Diego Chargers, Antonio
Man,
Gates.
he was he was by far one of my favorite players ever
Yeah,
in any
he was
position. He was just so amazing to watch.
he was smooth with it. Like this dude ran routes so
Like a
just
receiver.
so crisp. Yeah, like a receiver. And then again, we're talking about red zone with Jimmy Graham. Same thing, man. This guy, he wasn't the tallest guy, but he would box out like he was a center in the NBA, and he would just find the way to get that ball. And it's crazy because if I remember correctly, and I don't know that I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but Antonio Gates and Philip Rivers probably had like the most touchdowns
They're
compared
like
to
top
like
three now.
their top three.
Yeah, or
But at
some
that,
because Kelsey and Patrick, I think
Mahomes broke it.
they passed them recently. And then there's someone else.
I think it
Uh
was at that time they were competing with like Manning and
and
Harrison.
yeah, or something like that. But yeah, yeah. But I'm saying, yeah, you're right though. But Rivers and Gates, man, that was the connection. They were so
Yeah,
amazing. And the fact that he's not is he in the Hall of Fame yet? Like, how is he not in the Hall of Fame?
not yet. He's not.
How?
I don't know, but that should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, don't you
I
think?
would assume. I mean, he retired what a while back.
Let's see his last. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, this dude, man, he was a beast. He made the all 2000s team. So it just shows you like during that time frame, this dude was a monster.
Remember that
Um,
damn '03 team they had or whatever when they lost to the Patriots in the playoffs? But I'm like, they were what like 15-1, and like they were just lighting up the world. Was it Philip Rivers or was it Drew Brees? But either one, they had that. They had Antonio Gates. They had Ladainian Tomlinson. I mean, that team was just so electric. They had Marty Schottenheimer as the coach. They just could never get past New England. Just
Those that team was a team you were rooting for, like as an NFL fan, because you
right.
never really saw them.
Junior Seau, like I mean, man, they had a those teams were so
Sean
good.
Merriman at that time was
Sean
there.
Merriman, man. And the Patriots took him because they're like, well, we're gonna win anyway. We'll just take the best players. Oh man. So yeah, Antonio
Yeah.
Gates, man, he was. Oh
So
man, and
his
then
last season was 2018. Um, and so he's what, 6 years out of the league now?
so he's not. How the heck is he still on the Hall of Fame?
I guess he wasn't a first ballot, but he's probably gonna be there soon. Sooner
He
than
has
later, I
to
would think. Yeah.
for a tight end to do what he did. Like, how the heck is he not there?
Sometimes, man, these voters are make some head scratching moves.
I'm saying. All right, Danny.
Who's your last one?
The final and probably one of the best ever. And you sort of mentioned him, and you're like, oh, I should probably just not say anymore. Shannon Sharp, Danny,
Thank you. Thank you.
815 receptions, 10,060 yards, 62 touchdowns.
I I don't know if it's him, but it is. Does he have like a little training, like not training, but like a highlight reel where he's like, "Call the president because nobody can guard me." Was that him who said that?
Probably because people see him as like flashy and like mouthy now because he's on ESPN, he was on Fox and all that. I was like, but he was mouthy as a player. Like
Oh
no
yeah,
matter where he played, and people forget he won multiple Super Bowls. Not only was he like amazing, he was fortunate to win with Denver and he won with Baltimore.
that's
So
right.
he balled out. But you know what, Danny? I love
Go,
him for huh?
oh no, go ahead.
I love him for the fact that in his Hall of Fame speech, it was crazy. He says, "It's crazy that I'm the first brother." He says something like, "I'm the first brother person to be elected into the Hall of Fame as a oh, I'm the first player in the history that has a brother that played in the NFL that got into the Hall of Fame, but yet I'm not even the best player in my family." And you see his brother just crying because he was telling him like because a lot of people believe Sterling Sharp got robbed that he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. And Shannon Sharp always tells people, he was like, you guys don't understand. That man made me a football player. Like he's the one who taught me. He was the better person. And of course, Sterling, I think, won a Super Bowl with Green Bay with Brett Favre. So I mean, he was a champion too. But he hats off to Shannon to say something like that. You know, like just like everything's all about him. He's getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. His statue's there, and he was like, "Man, y'all are making me a legend and the best, but I'm not even the best part on my family." Like that just shows the love he has for his brother, and that that goes to like you and Gabe and your closeness, or like like me and Frank, and it's just
It's
like
it's the love, the gratitude, right, for teaching
right.
him
Yeah, and
how
like
to be.
Frank
Uh,
helped teach me like, how to play sports and football, like especially football. So then I just grew the knowledge and went on my own, but Frank taught me a lot.
yep.
But yeah, Shannon Sharp was just a monster on the field. And the fact that like it's rare to win a Super Bowl, but then when you win multiple with multiple teams, like that's that's rare air for sure. That's kind of
Definitely.
luck. But yeah, man, Shannon Sharp, man. If y'all don't see those, if y'all haven't seen those highlights, man, go check him out. He can
Yeah,
ball
go watch
out.
him, and they're man, just as also another physical type of tight end, right? That could not be stopped. Like this dude, and you know what's probably like even the most I guess most I'm trying to blank on the word I'm looking for. Like the most I don't know, like impressive thing I guess about him is the fact that he's been able to keep and maintain his like his play body type. Like
His
that dude's
physique,
ripped.
yeah, he's
Thank you,
jacked
his
still.
physique. That
And
dude, it looks like he could play today.
right, Oh, absolutely. And it's so cool that he like yeah, he just looks like those like a machine. Like he's just one of
Yeah.
those guys that doesn't age and like doesn't digress. But like he's notorious for the head shake. Like you're talking about the present thing, but he's also notorious for about the don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't do that. But yeah,
Scoop.
yeah, Skip, don't do that, Skip. Don't do that, Skip. But yeah, Shannon, much love and praise. Man, we should clip this and see if he like we should and tag him because he's very he's on social media a lot, so that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
We should clip him. But yeah, Shannon Sharp, ladies and gentlemen, go watch his highlights. National Tight End Day. We did a lot of tight ends that were in the Hall of Fame and some tight ends that should be in the Hall of Fame. So go check these names out that we mentioned. And now we're getting to the bulk of who's gonna win this week, Danny.
Yep. We're finally here. Let's talk about that and see if I can share my screen. That way we can take a look at all the matchups. If
Hopefully it
not, I'll
doesn't.
just tell you.
Oh,
Hold on. Let me. Hopefully it doesn't.
that's weird that it's wigging out.
Oh man, it's doing it again. I don't know what is going on with Streamyard, but it ain't my friend today.
That's weird. It's weird that it like works sometimes and doesn't.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to refresh my screen, so I'll be right back so I can see you again.
All right. So we went from Mike Ditka, Algie Crumpler, Frank Wycheck, Shannon Sharp on my list to Danny's Dallas Clark, Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham, and the first one he mentioned was Jeremy Shockey. But yeah, go check out those highlights on those tight ends, and they're amazing tight ends for sure. All right, Danny, let's see if it can work. Work
So
your magic.
it seems
Not
like
work.
we've been watching Minnesota a lot, um, right? Oh no, this
Yeah.
was last week's. My fault. I was about to say we're about to watch Minnesota again on Thursday night, but no, I was wrong. I was looking at
No,
week
it's
8.
Texans and Jets.
Yep, Texans Jets Thursday night football on Halloween.
Oh
What do you think
yeah.
about this matchup?
Woo. All right, so not to be condescending because of I just did the ooh, but Diggs goes down. I think that hurts. I think that hurts Houston a lot, especially going forward in the physical part of the season, going into the playoffs. And the Jets have to beat somebody, right? Like this is kind of a weird game. Houston's barely beating people, so it's kind of and New York's at home, Danny. So I'm like, do they upset the Houston Texans because of the injury and because of Houston like barely gimping to? Do I trust the vet over the year 2 player? It's hard. This game is really hard because the NFL has shown that any given whatever this an atrocious team can possibly beat the one of the best teams, like Cleveland beating Baltimore, even though it's a division game. Um, and this is a tough one for me.
It is at this point like there's no logic behind it,
Yeah,
right? We didn't expect the Jets to lose last week,
yeah, we
and
both picked them.
yeah. So
Who did
Joseph,
they
do you
lose
think
to? The Patriots, right? Like I
the
like how.
Patriots
And you lost to
without
two
Drake May?
quarterbacks. That's what I'm saying. Like you lost to two quarterbacks that you should have beat. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I.
At this point, yeah, I don't think I have faith to trust and pick the Jets, even though
Yeah,
the
you're
Texans are
so
wounded.
so you're gonna go to Houston.
I'm gonna go with Texans. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's just go Houston. I just what's weird, Danny, as much as I dislike the person, the player, it's the first year I can literally say I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. Like
I
to
know, right?
to to ball out. You know what I mean? Like I trust him to be a dick and a douchebag, but I I used to trust that he would show up on games and ball out. And that hasn't happened at all. Like he
Nope.
got up against New England. I was like, all right, cool. Like we picked the Jets. He's looking fresh. I picked him in my fantasy because I thought this would be the game that him and Adams and all them would just light it up, and then nothing. So yeah, I guess we're both going Houston.
What do you think is going through the mind of Devonte Adams
Uh,
after not having a
Gabe
good?
Gabe said Yankees are finally up. Please don't tell me that, Gabe. I don't. I just want the misery to end. They're not going to win four straight. Like, uh, I just can't do this. But anyway, what were you gonna say?
I said, what do you think is going through the mind of Devontae Adams?
I can't. I went from shit just to smell more shit. I mean,
Yeah,
what do you
I
think?
mean, at this point, like you have to be frustrated with where your career's kind of, the trajectory of your career. I mean, you went from being one of the best receivers in the league in Green Bay to once you leave there to kind of trying to figure out, who you are as a player. And then, I mean, it's not his fault. We know the type of player he can be, but now he's like joining Rodgers again at the back end of his career, and you can tell Rodgers not the same quarterback anymore.
Do you
Defenses seem faster.
if you're Jets, are you looking for Rogers' replacement at this point right now?
Yeah, 100%.
The draft or even maybe free agency, right? I mean,
Yeah.
hell, if I'm New York, I'm like, hey, I mean, Justin Fields, you didn't look too bad with a good defense. I mean, come help us out.
Yeah, at this point, like I hope there's no other team than the NFL that thinks that they can make Rodgers' or revitalize Rodgers' career because I don't think it's happening. He just looks too slow now to me. Like he can't get away from nobody. His mobility was probably his biggest attribute as a player. Just the way that he can maneuver within the pocket. Now it seems like he's stuck in sand or mud, right, where he can't really move around the pocket as much as he. And I don't know if it's a mental thing because of his Achilles or if it's just him, aging. I mean,
It's
he's old.
both. It's both, to be honest. All right, so we're both picking Houston. Whew.
All right. Next matchup is you mentioned earlier Dallas versus Atlanta at Atlanta.
This is no brainer. The Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons. Yeah, I gotta agree with you here. Because you
Like
know
it,
what?
I hate my
Every
team. I hate my owner, but I'm like, well, I mean, let me refresh. I love my team. I love the star. Hate the coach. Hate the quarterback. Hate the owner and GM. Yep.
Yeah,
But
that's pretty
I trust
understandable.
I trust Kirk Cousins. Like I even said that even before the year started. And look where we are now. Who's playing way better than our $60 million quarterback, Danny?
CD
Tragic.
Lamb.
Yeah, put him at quarterback.
Just run sweeps and
Yeah. Let's just go to the Wildcat the whole time. All right, Danny. What's next?
all right. Next matchup we have here. I was gonna say when we both pick the same team, we actually lose a lot of those matchups.
Really?
So yeah.
I
So that could be a good sign
honestly
for
think the Jets have a better chance being Houston than I think the Cowboys have a better
the
chance of
Cowboys.
being the Falcons. Yeah, honest opinion.
All right, this one's gonna be maybe not. Maybe I mean we've been to your point. We talked about it when we started the show that Buffalo is one of those teams where we didn't give them a lot of respect, and they've actually proved us wrong. And
A
so
lot.
now they're going up against a team that we gave a lot of respect to, even though they had a lot of departures, and that's Miami. So it's Miami at Buffalo at 11 o'clock on Sunday. Who do you got?
Danny, guess what? Tua's second game is playing the team that he got hurt in the second week.
That's true.
So hopefully he don't get hurt again, and Buffalo wins either way.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. They should have beat Arizona, and for them to keep Arizona close, like that made me lose all hope in their defense. Yes, their offense is gonna score. I mean, they look like a total different offense with Tua back. Um, their running game looked way better than it has these last couple of weeks. But again, Buffalo is going to they're capable of having that defense stop a couple teams here and there. And because of that, it's going to be a high scoring game, but I trust Buffalo's defense more in this case. So I'm going to go with the Bills just like you. All right. Next matchup, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, which one smells more like poop, Danny? This one's
I would say
interesting because both teams had the other teams on the ropes last week, and then they let them off. They did a Danny Green. We let them off the hook,
Yep.
and that's pretty much what it is. This game, this is basically trying to get a better draft pick at this point
Yeah.
for this game. Um, is it in Cincinnati?
Yep. At Cincinnati.
Then I'm choosing Cincinnati because they're at Cincinnati.
I agree. I've never been a fan of the Raiders this year. I'm telling you, there's just a lot of. Mainly, it's the quarterback position that has me not wanting to pick them.
What if they trade
Um,
Max Crosby before the deadline?
no, that'd be surprising because they've been saying that they're not going to trade him, and if they traded him, they better get a lot of good picks back. And hey, this could be the start of a new rebuild, right? This can be the type of haul you're going to get back for Max
Someone like
Crosby.
him, absolutely. Well, Herschel Walker, right? I mean, Dallas traded
Yep.
Herschel Walker, and then that's what created the '90s dynasty. So, sheesh. But
And
yeah,
you have some pretty good college quarterbacks coming out, like Sanders, like Ward from Miami, like
I
those.
like Dart too from Ole Miss.
Dart too, Jackson Dart, yeah,
I like his name, his moxie. Like if I'm picking a quarterback in second or third round early, like I'm going after Dart
yeah.
because I think he's gonna fall just because where he plays. He's not a
Hmm.
Sanders. You know what I mean? Like I think there's gonna be quarterbacks they're gonna reach on just because of their flash. But I think Jackson Dart is gonna be really good.
But at this point,
Uh,
like, why not do like the whole Washington Redskins type of thing, right? Where they drafted both Cousins and Griffin. Like, I would do that
right.
and
Yeah, yeah, because you
see.
never know. Because the second one might be better. And look what Kirk Cousins did. Like I mean, he way outlasted Robert RG3's career, right? So like, damn,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
exactly.
So so we're both picking Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals here.
Uh, and
Um,
then
the next matchup we have is the Chargers at the Browns.
well, you know who I'm not gonna go against. So
Jameis.
my boy
I'm just
Herbert
kidding.
is gonna. Well, Jameis is gonna come down to a little like come back to normalcy, and people got film on him again, and blah blah blah. But I think the physicality of Harbaugh's mentality, like how what Harbaugh wants, and then Herbert. I trust the quarterback more, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm going Chargers.
Chargers. I'm gonna go different here.
Uh oh.
Not because I think Jameis is a better quarterback. I just feel like their defense is probably gonna be. It's probably gonna be a low scoring game, to be quite
It's
honest
gonna
with
be
you.
a
But
physical game for sure.
yeah, it is, and they're evenly matched, honestly. But the Browns being at home, having Nick Chubb, I think they're gonna want to get him more involved than they have been these last 2 weeks. And then Jameis Winston, I think he elevated the confidence of that team offensively. So
Absolutely. Like there's no question. And he looked cool, man. Just all poised and just talking to them commentators, like he never skipped a beat.
yeah, that's the Jameis Winston
That's
we all know.
Jameson. Yeah, that's Jameson. Like he loves the limelight. He's a Cam Newton, but he's a more of a calm, quiet Cam Newton because he's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a crazy wardrobe.
And man, fucking Browns though. The one thing I hate about the Browns is not only their uniforms, their logo, but they
Everything
cost me my elimination game on my loser pool. Like
because they
so,
won.
yeah. And freaking, did you watch that game? Like the last couple seconds of
They
it? Like
dropped Humphrey dropped the pick, and then
yeah, it was
that's the part of winning and losing. Like Dallas had times to turn over Purdy and all that stuff, and they're stupid and dropped it. So I mean, like that cost you a game.
it's the room for error so slim
Jeez.
in the NFL.
Right, right. So we're finally
But
in disagreement.
yeah, we are. Let's see. We're probably gonna be in disagreement here. It's gonna be the Patriots at the Titans.
Oh
What
my
do you got?
god. At the
This is tough.
Titans,
At the Titans.
Drake May gets his first victory as a starter, Danny.
Drake May. Well, didn't he beat already somebody? Or no? Am I thinking of the wrong team?
I
I
thought
could have
he's
sworn
0
he.
2.
I, oh, maybe.
I don't know.
They tripped.
But anyway, I trust Drake May over whoever's quarterbacking in Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee is a big question mark because they've had Mason Rudolph start and he's been
Oh yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah. Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Uh,
Reindeer.
Mason Rudolph, and then who knows? Will
Sorry,
Levis
sorry,
is.
Rudolph. You can't save Christmas this year.
We're almost there. We're almost Christmas season, but
Dude, isn't that
not
crazy?
not
Like,
this Sunday. Yeah,
so who you got, Danny?
I'm gonna go with the Patriots as well. I thought you were gonna go Tennessee here, but yeah, I think the Patriots, even though they started trading away their players. I don't know. I just feel like it's. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna go with Titans
Wait,
here.
wait. They traded players? No, no. Hold on. I don't want
Yeah,
this.
now I started to recall. Okay, who's
Well,
gonna be rushing
Tennessee
the
did
quarterback?
too.
Who did they trade?
Hopkins.
Hopkins? Yeah, but Hopkins wasn't not even involved in that offense.
Well, because the quarterback sucked. You can't catch a ball if you can't get one thrown to you. What do you mean? Like,
This is the week. This is the week Pollard has a
I
good game.
mean, oh yeah. Now we're going to running back. Like, you're not the receiver. Yeah, try
Who
to
needs
back
a
up your
quarterback?
tracks. Yeah. Are you? Hey, have you been visiting Jerry and Boone and McCarthy at the asylum? Because talking a little crazy here.
What's a running back?
I know. What are you talking? Which way did he go, George? All right. Well, who's next, Danny?
Washington Commanders at New
Ooh.
York Giants.
Hey.
Hey, New York. New York was in the game yesterday.
Well, that's what I'm
They
saying. And they barely beat him the first time.
Yeah, that's
And they're
true.
coming off a Hail Mary. Does this crazy pandemonium excitement energy, does it wear off on Sunday? That could be a thing.
I don't think so. I think this is the kind of play because they should have lost that game, right? But this
Yeah,
is a
we
kind
both
of
agree. Ugh.
yeah. But this is a kind of outcome that can really motivate a team for the remainder of the year. This is a kind of win that can give you the confidence to think that you can
Do
win any
everything.
game, even if you're losing, right? So, the only way they lose this one is, if, of course, they overlook the Giants. But in all honesty, like if you're a division opponent, like you shouldn't be overlooking your division because they're the teams that know you the best out of the whole NFL. And given Dan Quinn being there and his mentality, I don't expect them to overlook the Giants. And Washington, like it's crazy because on paper, their defense that they're not like flashy names, right? They're a young team, kind of trying to figure themselves out.
Right.
But slowly but surely, they're kind of evolving into a defense that can make plays, get their team the ball back. And when you have the likes of a Jaden Daniels, like good stuff's gonna happen. So I'm gonna go Commanders here.
Well, I am going to go the New York Football Giants
Ooh,
in an upset because we already saw the Browns do the unthinkable. Why not Giants to the Commanders?
wow! Three straight games that we go different.
After our first three were together or four or whatever.
Yeah, first four.
Oof. All right, here we go. What's going on now?
All right, we got your favorite team, your second favorite team, the Denver Broncos, at the Baltimore Ravens.
At Baltimore?
At
Dude, this
Baltimore.
is a good sneaky game.
Yeah. Denver has the best defense in the league, right? If I read that
Mm-hmm,
correctly.
mm-hmm.
And now Baltimore, I mean, their defense has been up and down. So I don't know. This has the makings of being a low-scoring game. Um,
Danny, the Baltimore Ravens are going to lose their second straight game.
ooh, bold, my friend, bold. But it's not unthinkable for sure. You know, Denver, like I mentioned, their defense has
They're
been
streaking
pretty
right
good.
now.
Yeah, they figured out their groove. Their offense is getting there. Like Bo Nix, you can tell week by week he's getting more comfortable,
My
and
boy
that's
Bo, told
dangerous.
y'all. Told y'all. Don't be
That's da-
sleeping on him.
that's dangerous for a Sean Payton led team, right? Sean
Right,
Payton knows how to maximize his quarterbacks, and Bo figuring it out doesn't help the cause for any opponent.
right.
Um, I like that one. I just, man, Baltimore shouldn't have lost that game, and I feel like they overlooked the Browns, which is dumb because it's again divisional opponent. Um, but this is one they can't afford to lose, and I think that with that in mind, they'll be a little bit more
Motivated.
uh, prepared. I wouldn't say motivated because they should be motivated. It's the NFL, right? But they should be a little bit more prepared in dealing with adversity and making sure, like, if you have a lead, you maintain that lead. Don't give it up to anybody. And so for that reason, I'm going to go different here again. So 4 consecutive games where we go different. I'm going to go with the Ravens at home.
Man, this is crazy. I think this is the most we've done already, and we're not even done.
I know. Ravens, Broncos. All right, the next one we have is this is going to be easy for us to decide, I think. It's going to be Jacksonville at Philadelphia.
Jacksonville?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Sure, buddy.
I don't know, man. Just when the Eagles like look like they're always about to like take that next like leap, they end up doing something dumb. That I like. We both agree that Philadelphia should win, but if there's a team that's gonna do something dumb just to lose a game, it's gonna be Philadelphia to Jackson because Jacksonville has actually been playing better as of late. Like they've actually stayed in both games, even though that they've lost recently. So
Yeah,
it's not gonna be a cakewalk. Um, yeah, I guess we'll go Philadelphia.
Philly.
I'm
All
almost on
right.
the fence of going to Jacksonville, but
It's not too late.
Sirianni, I don't trust Sirianni. I don't,
I hate that
his
guy.
dumb
Just
face.
even looking at him
I
pisses me
know.
off. But all right. So the Eagles, we're both in agreement there. Finally, the next one is Chicago at Arizona.
Damn, so you guys are playing like two scramblers back to back. Oh Jesus. But
Yep.
oh yeah, I was gonna mention that earlier because you talked about Kingsbury and Jaden. What I think is working for Kingsbury and Jaden more than it was Kyler and Kingsbury. When Jaden scrambles, he goes forward and just gets the yard instead of trying to wait for the biggest play like Hurts and Scramble
Yeah.
Gamble in Arizona. You know what I mean? Like Kyler goes in circles and it's just like, dude, just run up the field, like just like get the few yards, and that's what
Yeah.
hurts him at times. So, but I that being said, I think Kingsbury and Jaden are working better. But I think Chicago, man, this is crazy. Like you said, this might be the telltale game. Are you guys going? You guys are going to the game, right?
Yeah. We'll be at that game.
Ooh, y'all, you and is Gabe going?
Yeah. He's coming down
Oh,
to
y'all
Phoenix.
better pray that this Hail Mary don't do you in for this game. That's
I
gonna
hope not.
suck balls.
Uh,
I trust Chicago more than I do Arizona though. Talent
t-
wise, coaches, I'm kind of sketchy.
yeah. Well, I'm
You're
gonna go different here. I am. I am not trusting our coaching staff. I've seen
you're
this
picking
these
scramble
last
gamble.
even though I hate his scramble gamble, yeah. Yeah, I got to go with Arizona at home. I just think that this is the kind of stuff that will break a locker room. And I mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast that a lot of players started even questioning the decision for Eberflus not calling timeouts, not covering the sidelines on that second to last play. So like those are the types of things that once that starts to happen, the teams start to question the decisions of the coaches. And I think we're at that point now. I think we're at that point where it's going to affect them. I hope I'm wrong, but I've seen this for 3 years now where right when we start to make some improvement, we try to get some traction with along some wins, like we can never maintain it. We can never keep it going, and it's always something stupid that keeps us from having a long winning streak. And I'm just frustrated.
Dang,
I
where's
really
Gabe?
am.
Gabe, did you hear that? He's going with scramble gamble.
Yeah, I gotta prepare myself mentally so when I'm there and I see a loss, I'm not so hurt by it like I was this week. So um, Arizona is winning this week. Sorry, Gabe. At least we'll see each other.
I
That's
know.
gonna be
Yeah.
the
Woohoo!
bright.
Family reunion. I told you, Gabe, he's
uh,
a Cardinals fan now.
I hope I'm
Wow,
wrong. Damn it.
non-believer. He just texted us. Um, I don't I trust the Bears' talent to overcome the coaching's stupidity.
I hope
In the
so.
season, it can be overcome, but like I said, like the World Series, and you put in a pitcher who hasn't pitched in months, that shit going not gonna fly. But I think Bears come back and get the victory.
I'm kind of sad that I'm gonna be able to miss this next matchup because it's gonna be a good one. It's the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers,
Well,
2:25
you guys are
p.m.
playing the same time, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna miss that matchup. But that's imagine
Ooh.
after next week, the Green Bay Packers are leading the NFC North. That
That could
would
be a thing.
be. It can happen with the win if they beat them next week. They
Oh
take
my
sole possession of first
god!
place.
No, 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 no.
And we talked about Minnesota kind of having that, downward spiral where after losing two back-to-back weeks and then also losing Darisaw, their left tackle, like those are the types of things that can really impact the trajectory of the season, right?
Right.
And with the Lions, like I don't know if you saw before we jumped on this podcast, but Jameson Williams, other than being um, suspended, he has a warrant out for his arrest for having guns in his car.
What's he
Uh,
doing? They're gonna end up releasing him now.
I know, and
He
so this is
finally got everything going. Like, what are you doing? You're
Green
finally
Bay has a good
healthy.
defense.
Not healthy. Like you're. Oh my god. Oh. I
So
trust the physicality of the Detroit Lions defense
me
than
too.
I do Love and his love growing. So
And I don't even know where he stands injury wise. Like I
day
know
to
he got
day,
hurt day to day,
yeah,
so he's gonna play.
yeah, he'll play. I mean, you have to play. You're playing a damn division foe that you're trying to up in. So you have the ball. Come on, Jay Cutler, let's go. What are you doing?
Right?
Fucking asshole. I'll never forgive him. But yeah, I'm going Detroit.
Yeah, me too. I think have proved us wrong and proved you right. I think proved me wrong. Because just when I thought the loss of Hutchinson was gonna affect them, it's like they didn't skip a beat. Um,
Yeah, they're just a
so
monster, man.
Jared Goff is playing out of this world. So it's gonna be a good matchup. I wish I could watch it, but
Right.
it is what it is. This next one though, it's our second to last game on Sunday. It's also a 2:25 game. It's also a division game. The
Woo.
Rams take on the Seattle Seahawks for the
Woo.
division lead
Woo. Where's it at?
in Seattle.
Ooh. All right, you go. You take the reins on this one first. I want to see this.
If I was if you would have asked me last week, I would have picked Seattle
Hands down.
100%. But now, the way that they came out last week flat, and the Rams, the way that they looked against the Vikings, like
And
Cooper Cup,
Metcalf is
and
still injured.
yep, DK still out. Puka, Cooper Cup, like I expect their offense to continue to roll. And Seattle always has their number, but I think this week's going to be a little bit different. LA has a really sneaky defense as well. Their defensive line is young, but it gets
What was it, Florida, right? They drafted those two kids from
Florida
Florida.
State.
They're doing good,
Yep.
man.
Yeah. They're in the backfield a lot, which is what
Right.
you want to see from rookies.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the Rams here. What about you?
I'm going with the 12th man of Sean McVay. I know. I saw you. You're like, all right, cool. Sean McVay, I trust more than the young youth coach over there, which I think he's going to be a great coach because he has Seattle probably better than we all thought they would be right now. But
Yeah.
they're slumping at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because you had the division by the balls, and you were up by like 3-4 games, and now you're literally one loss away to being second in the division, maybe third. So, yeah, I'm going the Rams.
And honestly, should have been the time where the Seattle Seahawks just found ways to win and string along a couple of consecutive wins because you had the 49ers, pretty much struggling, and now
I know,
you're
and you get your
allowing
ass
them.
beat by them.
I know. Yeah, that should have been without
I know.
without without McCaffrey, that should have been a win for sure.
Right.
Now you end up going from a division favorite to now like who
You may not
knows?
even
Who
make the
knows? It's up
playoffs
in the air. Yeah,
because
it's a
the NFC
close.
North is probably going to have at least three. So I'm like, you have to win the division to get in.
Yeah,
And now the
it's hard, and then
Buccaneers are two down, 2.5 from Atlanta, so they really have to pray. All right,
a
Danny. So we're
collapse.
both the Rams.
The Rams. I'm gonna go the next matchup we have here is the Colts Sunday Night Football at Minnesota
Oh, yeah, they
Vikings.
flexed the game, right?
Hmm.
Dude, this is crazy. If Ditch Mitch was there, 100%, I would choose Minnesota. But they're kind of falling a little bit. Flacco is Flacco. He can get streaky, and you're playing a good Colts team that's pissed because they probably should have beat Houston, but Ditch Rich decided to ditch Rich himself. So um, this one's a tough one for me. I'm going with the home team just because I trust they're a better they're a better well-oiled machine. Like they don't have the constant like is Rich playing or is it Flacco or what's going on with any like they're not struggling with to even find their identity. They have an identity, right? So that's why I'm going with it.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I think the Vikings are gonna win this one. I think they took the Rams too lightly last week. They started off good. I mean, they went down the field on their first drive, their first two drives, and scored touchdowns.
Right.
Um, I mean, I think after a point they just got too comfortable and allowed them to stay in the game. And Cooper Cup and Puka found their rhythm. And this week I expect them to be a little bit more sharp on defense. I think they won't give up touchdowns. I think they'll probably give up field goals to Colts. And then Flacco, you just don't know. You don't know what you're gonna get in Flacco. You can get streaky, like you said, or it could be one of those games where he throws a couple of interceptions and the
Right.
defense makes him look slower than what he really is, right? Because of his age as well. So, yeah, I think the Vikings will win this matchup.
So now we're at the Monday night game, Danny.
We are the last game
All
of
the
the.
flag fest games, because every Monday night game so far has been flag fested up the yin yang.
It's gonna probably be another one. Uh, you have the Chiefs playing at
Oh,
home.
for sure. There's gonna be tons
Yeah,
of flags, all in their
told you.
favor. Oh, someone ran by Mahomes. Flag. Oh, someone breathed on Kelsey. Flag. At home
Unnecessary
against
roughness.
who? Yeah. For just
Tampa
showing
Bay.
up. Oh man, poor
Poor
Bucks.
Tampa. Yeah.
Yeah, they're reeling right now with injuries, and they go into this after they just lost to their division foe. Oh my god. Oh man. And what makes me
Man, it
mad is
makes you
much
go ahead.
it makes me mad that Machomes is just playing so stupid and they're still able to win.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's crazy that they're 7-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they 7-0 or six and
They
zero right
haven't
now?
lost 7 now, I think.
So they're 7-0, and their schedule is just like they haven't been tested. Other than week one with the Ravens, everything else has been kind of they have
Slapstick
been
games.
yeah, and it's like they're not even looking good either, and they're still
That's
winning.
great for us because we don't want them to win, but of course they get another person because they're trying to win, unlike Jerry. Like, well, obviously I'm picking the Chiefs at home because that's
Me
just
too.
I would
At this
like to
point,
see Tampa win, but
they're a
two
wounded
injuries
dog.
on your I know, yeah, your two best receivers too. Like, there's no like, oh man, the fact that Baker was able to score as much points as he did last game surprised the hell out of me. Like, hats off to him.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, because I was looking at another screen. I missed Dale's updates. Bottom of the third, 2-5.
Man, this game seems like it's
That
going long.
top of the fifth. Okay, we've been talking for a bit. Top of the fifth, 3-5, and now it's 4-5. Yeah, it's 4-5. Bottom of the fifth.
Wow. Let's just not even look at the score. Let's just we're gonna give it away. Don't worry. Just it's gonna happen.
Thanks, Dale. But yeah, we're almost at week 10 in the NFL season.
so
Crazy,
the
right? It just seems like we started last week.
so the trade deadline is this coming week.
Yep, this coming
Sheesh.
week.
Can we trade our politicians? Like, can we just trade? Like,
Right?
can
Let's
we
get
do
some
that?
better
This trade?
candidates.
Well, not. I mean, at this point, we should just run our own. Like, we can run shit. Like, free water, free electricity. Like, it shouldn't even be that bad. Bad is bad. Good is good. Like, come on now. Like, there's like, it's not even that hard to do this. But
Did
sheesh.
you vote already or no?
No, I plan to do it tomorrow morning. You?
Yeah, I need to go do that. I need to go do that this week. But
But
it's our civic duty.
man,
We got to do it,
tragically,
even though we don't have
even
like the
though
best candidates.
well, even though that they don't like us anyway, like they're not gonna give us what we actually need and like to help us like support our families and blah blah blah. Like they don't care. Like they truly
Yeah,
don't
it's all
care.
talk.
Yeah. Stupid. The one politician that brings up that they're gonna start giving free water, free electricity, free Wi-Fi because they're necessities. That is how that would be the person that I would want. Like that would actually talk about actually giving society and humanity like the right stuff for free because it's a necessity more than anything. Then wants, obviously, yeah, you got to go and provide and work for it. But it's stupid that we have to pay electric bill, water bill, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
And they
it is
want
what
us
it
to
is.
like not. They want us to get out of poverty. I'm like, okay, for sure. Sure, that's cool, but you're giving us all these stupid bills for no reason.
I've never spent so much of my life these last since COVID, just on freaking groceries, gas. Like it's ridiculous.
Inflation is the biggest lie. The gas is the biggest lie. Like it's stupid.
I used to pay like $2 for coffee. Now I'm paying like four, almost $5.
So I
Sick of
don't
it.
drink coffee, man. Fuck that. Man, it's a dirty. This is a cool episode. It was awesome. Yeah, go check out those tight ends. We got
Why don't
Shannon,
why
Shannon
don't you
Sharp.
why don't you let us know about your topic for next week? You think you had a good idea?
Woo! All right, next week, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I can't wait. Pray to God that I get the Cowboys because I will roll that so intensely. But we're gonna do it. If I were the GM, whether it's struggling or going forward, what would I do with my team right now that's struggling or failing or just not being exactly what it should be? So we're gonna be what if I was the GM for that specific team, and then obviously maybe you'll do the spin the wheel, or we'll just like pick and choose whatever how it unfolds. But yeah, that's gonna be fun. What I would like position wise, like it, like oh man, there'd be a lot of stuff I would do for New York, for Dallas, for Cleveland, for a lot of teams. Like a lot of changes would be coming for sure.
Yep, that sounds like fun. It'd be cool to hear your vision for the improving those teams. So I'll get the spin wheel ready, and
Yes,
we'll talk
yeah. So
about it next week.
do like the, I guess like 10 to 15 teams that are struggling, and then the wheel like yeah.
Okay, I'll get it ready.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Well, it was another good episode. This time we did it in less than 2 hours, which
Right, that's
normally
crazy. And we talked a lot. Like I felt like we talked a lot, but I think we were
we'll let you.
quick with it.
Yeah, it was good, and it was a fun conversation. I think tight ends always reminiscing about the older, tight
I can't.
ends, older players.
So we've done wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs so far, right?
Hmm.
So we'll definitely chime in some more positions later down the road. Like that'll be fun. Like that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, but it was fun as always.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sun City Leatherheads, please like, share, and follow Shannon Sharp. Hopefully, you'll be seeing this soon. Whoop, whoop. Nope, nope, don't do that. Don't do that.
Scoop.
Yeah. Stephen A. You know what makes me mad, Stephen A. Like, no, nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. The head shake, bro. But man, this is cool. Man, this is fun. I like this episode.
It always is, brother.
Yes. Man. All right, Danny. It's been amazing. Sun City Leatherheads. Until next time. We'll be in November next time, Danny. Isn't that crazy? Oh my goodness,
Hey,
already.
I forgot to mention we'll be on the same time zone finally.
Oh yeah,
So
because we do the whatever. Shoot.
we started the podcast at 5 o'clock my time, which is not mountain time, it's Pacific time. But now everybody's going back, so I'll be on mountain time now, which is good.
So you'll be at 6.
It'll be 6 my time now, going back to the way it originally was for me. It's been weird, man,
What? So, but
adjusting
yeah,
to this
but
time.
wouldn't that make me go further?
No, because we don't go back in Arizona. We stay at the time that we're in right now. So you guys are gonna go
We're
back.
gonna go back and you stay.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So it is what it is. It feels like I'm in the Twilight Zone or
I
something,
know.
but I'll take it.
I bet that Hail Mary
uh,
made you guys feel like that was the Twilight Zone because that was. I was so mad too because as a
I was
Cowboy
already
fan,
celebrating. I told Sam, yes, we escaped Washington.
right? Where'd you go? What happened, Danny? Oh no, you cut off.
So
All right.
it was
Oh
tough.
man, you cut off.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, well, yeah. You said we stopped it. You already celebrating. You told Sam.
Yeah, I told Sam we escaped Washington with the win. It was a hard fought, ugly win, but hey, we did it. We're gonna be 5-2, and then sure enough, that ball bounced in the wrong hands.
Oh my gosh. All right, Danny. It's been amazing.
All
Sons of the
right, we'll talk
Leatherheads
next week.
out. Yeah.
Peace, everyone. We'll talk next week.